Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with Fig Brulee. You've probably heard of creme brulee, which is a custard with sugar burned on the top. Well, you can also brulee pieces of fruit. And one fruit that works very, very well with this is fig. So I have some beautiful figs, two different kinds, black mission figs, and the green fig is a Sierra. All right, so our first step here, we're gonna take our figs and cut them in half. I'm gonna do it two different ways, just for a little visual variety. The black mission figs, I'm gonna cut lengthwise, just like that. And then just so they sit nice and steady on the plate, I'm gonna take a really super dull paring knife, super dull, and cut a little bit of the bottom off so it lays flat. And of course, you're gonna use a sharp knife so it's easier. All right, for the green ones, I'm gonna cut the top and the bottom off. Again, this paring knife is brutal. I don't know why I grabbed this knife. All right, use sharp knives. Do as I say, not as I do. And after I cut the top and bottom off, I'm going to cut right through the center. So one I'm going to go lengthwise, one I'm going to go right across the middle. Beautiful either way. So you decide which way to cut your figs. It depends on how provocative you want to be. But some way, somehow, they got to get cut in half. All right, once those are cut in half and arranged beautifully, in alternating colors around a plate, we're going to go ahead and put on the sugar so we can brulee these. By the way, use something flame-proof. Do not do this on a cardboard box filled with gasoline. Okay, so our figs are ready for the sugar, which is going to be this Demerara sugar. It's known as a raw sugar. Sometimes you see those little packets in the cafes that says sugar in the raw. Same thing, basically. And by the way, I had no idea how to pronounce this, so I went to one of those websites that pronounces things for you, and dude said it was
Demerara sugar. Demerara sugar.
That's right, Demerara sugar. And all we're going to do is we're going to sprinkle some on the surface of the fig. All right, and you just want a sprinkling. You don't want it like super heavy duty. So I'm going to say like about a half a teaspoon on each, but I didn't measure. You just sprinkle it. And yes, white sugar will work. This just seems to work a little better. Okay? All right, so once it's sprinkled on there, we got a tuck blowtorch. So what I don't want you to do is go to the fancy food product store and buy a creme brulee torch. I want you to get one of these, a regular hardware store propane torch. Cheap, easy. When you're out, you just screw a new can of propane on the bottom. So these are like, okay? And this one is like, all right, so you don't want to hear that sound. So we're going to take our blowtorch. There's not much to this. You simply hold the flame on the sugar until it bubbles and boils and turns dark brown. And yes, there might be a couple small spots of black. That's okay. Brulee means burnt. Creme brulee means burnt cream. So it's supposed to be that way. And when that sugar cools, it's going to get crispy. It's going to get shiny. It's going to be beautiful. And you can hear with the tip of this knife how hard that surface gets. So you're going to go around with your blowtorch and you're going to torch the top, brulee the top of all those figs, which is what we have right here. So you could serve these with a bunch of different things. That would make a great garnish for some ice cream. But what I did, I took some fresh burrata cheese, which is a very extra creamy fresh mozzarella, and I plopped a big old scoop right down the middle, which I think looks pretty gnarly, but beautiful. And then I'm going to drizzle over a little bit of extra virgin olive oil and just a touch of freshly ground black pepper and a little bit of sea salt, just for fun. And that's just a great, great pairing with those sweet figs. Just some gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. So while this certainly would work for a dessert, if you just serve the brulee figs, it also can be done more of a savory type application like you see me doing here with the cheese and the salt and the pepper and stuff. All right, let me try this. I'm going to cut my fig in half. That sweet fresh fig, that crispy caramely burnt sugar, the creamy cheese, that peppery extra virgin olive oil. Just some really interesting taste and textures going on. And of course I used figs here, but you can try this with bananas and peaches and apricots. So basically, if you can slice a fruit and sprinkle sugar on it, this should work. So there you go, fig brulee with burrata cheese. All the ingredients are on foodwishes.com. Oh, actually, no, they're not. There's no ingredients. It's figs and sugar. Although I will explain more on the blog as usual. So go check it out. And as always, enjoy